So have you ever wanted to live right on the water and not be actually in downtown Boston and pay all the absurd prices and have views like the ones right behind me? Well, you can, and this is East Boston, right? This is one of the most flourishing neighborhoods around the Boston area. And in this video, we're gonna go check out all the major neighborhoods of East Boston and see what it's like to live there. All right, guys, my name is Lior. I'm with Engel and Volkers, and I'm doing another one of my neighborhood overview videos. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, click subscribe below. I do videos like this all the time where I do overviews of different neighborhoods around the Boston area that you've probably heard of but don't know much about. So subscribe below. And if you're thinking about buying or selling a home in and around East Boston or anywhere else around the Boston area, my contact info is below. I work 24/7. I help buyers invest, move into their dream house, whatever it is, hit me up below and I can help you out for sure. So in this neighborhood overview, we are in East Boston. And here's the thing with East Boston. East Boston's got three major neighborhoods, right? It's got Jeffries Point / Maverick, it's got Eagle Hill, and it's also got like the Wood Island, Orion Heights neighborhood. So we're gonna start and check out first Jeffries Point, which is where I'm at right now. Jeffries Point has been one of the neighborhoods that has blown up the most over the last 3 to 5 years. It was the first neighborhood where developers really came in and started building condos and developments. But besides condos and developments, Jeffries offers so much more. So obviously it's got parks like this with awesome Boston City views, right? So you can see behind me. This is Pierce Park right on the water, and it's got a ton of green space, right? I mean, there's people all around, especially if you come on a nice summer day like this. It's packed with tons of people. You can obviously enjoy the water as well. And this is not the only park. If you go around the coast, there's Loresty Park right by the Real House. So there's plenty of outdoor space in East Boston, even though it is a smaller city, right, within the Boston area. And besides parks, there's also tons of brewery, right? There's a brewery, right? There's the Down East Cider House pretty close by here. And also tons of restaurant options, both classic East Boston ones like Santarpio's, right, which everyone knows about, even Julian Edelman has talked about, to the newer options like Real House, right, which has a brand new restaurant which has tons of food options, drinks. So you have an awesome mix of both the young, the old, and the new, which is a perfect blend. And the other thing, obviously, besides, you got the development, you got the parks, you got the food and drinks, and you also have convenience, right? In Jeffries Point, you're right next to the Blue Line on Maverick Square. And you can get into downtown within a couple of stops, right? You're very close. If you're driving into downtown, it's 10 minutes without traffic, you're in there. You can get right on you can hop right into downtown. So it's really convenient to downtown Boston, except you're just paying a fraction of the price, right? So right behind me, downtown Boston, most real estate trades at around 12 or 1300 square foot starting, right? That's what the Back Bay is selling at as of 2019. But in East Boston, in Jeffries Point right now, you can buy real estate at around 650 to 700 a square foot. So you're just getting into Boston, right, at like literally half the cost. And you can have these awesome views, you can have all these amenities, and you can be within literally like 10 minutes of downtown. So that's why so many people have decided to move into East Boston, especially Jeffries. It's been one of the most developed areas, and for good reason. It's got all the amenities that you could possibly want. So for our next neighborhood, we're gonna roll now into Eagle Hill. All right, so now we're in Eagle Hill, which is just a little further down away from Jeffries. And if you look on the map, basically Eagle Hill is really a lot of parallel streets like Lexington, Trenton, Princeton, Falcon, and they're all perpendicular to Meridian, which is kind of the main commercial street here. And the nice thing about Eagle Hill is it's really only just a couple of minutes away from Jeffries. But if you're gonna walk, it's about 10 minutes or so. If you're gonna drive, it's literally a couple of minutes. And it's so close to all the amenities we just talked about. So the transportation, right? The MBTA line, all the different restaurants, all the different parks that Jeffries offer. You're literally just steps away. And because of that, because you're a little further out in a slightly different neighborhood, you're getting a slightly cheaper price here, right? So like we talked with with Jeffries, when real estate there is selling around 650 to 700 per square foot, Eagle Hill, you're typically getting in at around 600 per square foot, or plus or minus. And this is really what a typical street here looks like, right? Right now I'm on Lexington, and you've got row houses on both sides of the street, and there's some charm, right? I mean, you could see like there's like these purple and orange houses. It's really a historic. It's more a little bit more historic, and it's really just characterized by these. It's really just characterized by a lot of these row house streets. Again, it's really close to everything, but because you're in a slightly different neighborhood than Maverick, you're getting a little bit cheaper. Still that Boston attitude. But basically you're just the neighborhood over, you're getting a little bit cheaper, but you're close to everything. So that's really what Eagle Hill's like. All right, so now we're in our final neighborhood in East Boston, and that's the Orion Heights area of East Boston. And if you look on it on a map, it's just north of both Jeffries Point and Eagle Hill. And you know what, this area has a lot of actually kind of unique amenities, kind of like Jeffries. So it's got plenty of transportation. So you've got 3 MBTA stops. You've got Wood Island, Orion Heights, and Suffolk Downs. And in terms of other amenities, you have kind of like Jeffries, you have a decent amount of parks, kind of like the one I'm at here right now. You can see there's tennis courts behind me. You do have a beach, which is where I'm at right now, Constitution Beach. It's actually a fairly large beach. So it's, you know, you've got some nice neighborhood amenities here that you kind of see, you're seeing in Jeffries. And in terms of the overall feel, it's a little different. You know, it's kind of a mix of a suburb and a city life, because you do have some streets here that are, you know, very, they feel like Jeffries, where they've got row houses on top of each other, lots of triple deckers, multifamily, etc. But then you'll find a lot of pockets around Orion Heights that are very single family oriented and much more, you know, bigger lots, and they just feel like you're almost in the suburbs, which is, you know, it's a nice little feeling to be in Boston and have this almost like suburb feeling. The other thing about Orion Heights too, if you look right behind me over there, that's Logan Airport as well. So you are a little closer to Logan here. Now the big drive obviously with Orion Heights is it's cheaper than both Jeffries Point and Eagle Hill. So in terms, if you're looking at from a price wise, if we're talking about price per square foot, Orion Heights is typically at around $500 per square foot or so, whereas we talked about Jeffries is, you know, 650 to 7, and Eagle Hill's at 600. So it's a little cheaper it's a little cheaper here. Plus again, if you like kind of the more maybe a little quieter lifestyle, you want to have a single family feel neighborhood, there are pockets like that make this area, you know, a little uniquely distinct. All that being said, it's still East Boston, and the development wave is just starting to hit Orion Heights. So you're still see quite a bit of construction going on in Suffolk Downs, which is again kind of the last part of East Boston. If you look at it northwise, there's supposed to be large proposed developments that are, you know, supposed to be absolutely mega, kind of like almost Assembly Square in Somerville or even bigger. But you know, you'll probably see this area changing a lot over the next 5 to 10 years. But again, it's a little quieter pocket. You got that suburban feel in parts of it. You've got awesome amenities like this beach, the parks, the transportation, a lot of old school East Boston restaurants. So it's nice, and it's another little great spot in East Boston.